Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, Sumo fans. I'm Vinny and this is Sumo Files, and today I'm going to talk about Day 9 of the Kyushu Basho. So without further ado, let's dive into the highlights. Tokihayate defeated Fujinokawa by Yorikiri, and he did it in a bout that initially looked promising for the Ise no Umi Rikishi. Fujinokawa seems to have a good tachi-ai, but the strength gap quickly became apparent as Tokihayate regained ground almost immediately. Once they reached the Tawara, Fujinokawa tried to make use of his grip on the Mawashi by putting his right arm over the neck to attempt a okurinage. Tokihayate, however, secures the Mawashi with his left hand and dropped his weight onto him, completely shutting down the throw. That left Fujinokawa exposed to the counterattack, and he was walked out seconds later. With 2 straight losses, Fujinokawa falls to 6-3, while Tokihayate picks up a second consecutive win, climbs to 7-2, and now keeps both the kachi-koshi and a possible yusho chase within reach. Hoga beat Nishikifuji by Hataki Komi, following a game plan that was clear from the opening clash. He wanted to use his arms to maintain a safe distance while waiting for a chance to counter, and that moment came when they reached the edge. Hoga grabbed Nishikifuji's right arm, placed his own right over the Isegahama wrestler's left, and pressed both hands downwards to end the match cleanly. Hoga continues his pattern of winning almost every other day and reaches his 5th win. Nishikifuji, having his streak snapped, still stands at 6 wins and remains firmly in the hunt for his kachi-koshi. Midorifuji defeated Shodai by amiuchi, concluding a fight that blended improvisation with quick reading of openings. He went straight for a maimitsu at the start, but Shodai countered by crushing his arms and forcing him backward. That allowed the Tokitsukaze wrestler to take control with forward pressure. Yet, Midorifuji turned the tables by catching Shodai's right arm. As Shodai focused on freeing it, he didn't notice Midorifuji targeting his left as well, pushing it downwards to break his balance while twisting the right. Amiuchi is an extremely rare finishing technique. Having even 1,000 uses would already be a lot, and Midorifuji's timing was perfect, moving to 4-5. Shodai, now with 2 straight losses, drops to 3-6 and needs to act fast to avoid a kachi-koshi. Ura beat Wakamotoharu by Yorikiri in an electrifying bout. After a tachi-ai in which he tries to trap Wakamotoharu's arm but couldn't quite secure it, the destination was an exchange of thrusts and tsupari, with the Arashio wrestler holding the advantage and focusing on the neck and face. Even so, the Kisei Maegashira managed to grab his left arm, and Wakamotoharu grew over-eager. Despite freeing himself, he overcommitted and had his right leg caught briefly, which was enough for Ura to regain balance and drive him out. With both Rikishi now sitting at 4-5, Ura ends his 3-loss skid while simultaneously snapping Wakamotoharu's 3-win streak. Wakatakakage defeated Takayasu by Watenage after a great turnaround. Wakatakakage absorbed a solid kachi-age and immediately pivoted left to push the komusubi towards the edge. He grabbed the Mawashi with his right hand as Takayasu resisted and even managed to reclaim some territory. But just as Takayasu initiated the motion for a Watenage of his own, Wakatakakage planted his leg in front and executed his throw first. After suffering heavily through the first half of the tournament, the Arashio wrestler is finally capitalizing with 3 consecutive wins to rise to 4-5 and keep every chance of earning his kachi-koshi. Takayasu, now 5-4, also remains well within reach of a positive record. Oho beat Tamawashi by Hataki Komi. Following a very even tachi-ai in which both landed clean shots to the chin, the tsupari began, and Tamawashi kept having his neck targeted. But operating in his area of expertise allowed him to find the opening to attack. Even with Oho on the Tawara, the Sekiwake managed to push Tamawashi's left arm across to reverse the position. The veteran refused to give up and planted his heels on the edge to push forward again, but Oho stepped back and surprised him with a Hataki Komi. It was an exciting match, leaving both men at 4-5, Tamawashi on a 3-loss streak and Oho breaking a 2-loss run. Aonishiki defeated Hiradoumi by Yuri Taoshi, after showing impressive speed and control right from the tachi-ai. He locked Hiradomi's arm and neutralized his Oshizumo, but the Sakaigawa wrestler freed his right hand and tried to push the Sekiwake's head. When he abandoned that attempt, his own head was pushed instead, and as he tries to take the initiative, Aonishiki secured a grip on the right side of his mawashi. Expecting a throw, Hiradomi braced himself by hooking his leg behind the Sekiwake's right, but Aonishiki reversed momentum, attempted to trip him backward, and forced him into fully reactive mode. Even though Hiradomi tries to stabilize by grabbing the Ukrainian's head, Aonishiki never released the mawashi and drove directly into it, sending him out. His movement was so quick and fluid that Hiradomi could only try to keep up. With this win, Aonishiki reaches kachi-koshi and stays firmly in the race with Onosato. Hiradomi, now 2-7, is one step away from Makikoshi. Kotozakura beat Takanosho by Hatake Komi in a match with a lot of intelligence involved. Beginning by extending his arms to create distance and slow the Komusubi's Oshizumo, Kotozakura's right arm was deflected and he nearly fell, forcing him to use that same arm to keep balance against Takanosho, only for him to clash into the Komusubi's leg and have that same arm knocked aside again. With the situation turning against him, the Ozeki reached for the back of Takanosho's neck and broke his balance completely, bringing him to the clay. Kotozakura climbs to 4-5 with back-to-back wins and begins to regain momentum, while Takanosho, after a dreadful start, is now just one loss away from Makikoshi. Hoshoryu defeated Yoshinofuji by okurinage, ending a bout that was nothing short of dominant. The Yokozuna started with sharp tsupari, deflected the Maegashira's left arm to destabilizing and turn him around, and then wrapped his own arm over Yoshinofuji's right shoulder to drag him backward and down. It was decisive in every sense. Hoshoryu reaches 7 wins and continues his streak, while Yoshinofuji, now 6-3, gets a first-hand reminder of the gulf between elite skill and Yokozuna level execution. Onosato beat Oshoma by Yoshidashi, in a match where the Yokozuna simply paid no mind to his opponent's offense. He blasted Oshoma with a huge shove to the neck, followed by another to the chest, and finished instantly. This marks Oshoma's 3rd straight loss, dropping him to 3-6 with more Sanyaku opponents still ahead. Onosato, meanwhile, stays perfect at 9-0, and at this point, fans are wondering if anyone can actually stop him. But anyway, that's all for today. So if you enjoyed this coverage, consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel and turning on notifications so you don't miss any future content. That's it guys, until next time!